The reason we are legalizing and controlling marijuana is not for any other reason than to better protect our kids and to remove the black market, the criminal elements, the organized crime from profiting massively from the sale of cannabis.
All right, when marijuana does become legal, and it will eventually, will you go to your holiday party with, I don't know, a nice bottle of wine, box of chocolates, and a bag of cannabis for your host? Maybe some pot brownies that you made? Well, that's the new world we're about to enter into after the Marijuana Task Force set out a 106-page report for legalizing marijuana. There are some 80 recommendations, and they include a minimum age of consumption of 18, selling marijuana in separate stores, allowing people to grow their own plants, up to 4 plants, even having mail-order marijuana, taxing marijuana with higher THC levels, that's the chemical that makes you high, at a higher level. But the next step is also crucial. Do we need a way to test people for intoxication while driving? And if it's going to be legal in the next few years, why not decriminalize it right now? To answer more of those questions is the Liberal MP and the former Toronto police chief, who is the Liberals' pot point person, Bill Blair. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, Evan. Good to be here.
Well, the task force has all these recommendations, and the NDP say, well, if you're going to legalize, why not decriminalize it right now?
Well, you know what gets so often left out of this discussion is we've talked about legalization and regulation, restricting access that children have to it and taking organized crime out of it. That regulatory framework that the task force report speaks to is a critically important part in making sure that we do a better job of protecting our kids, protecting our communities, and protecting the health of Canadians. Decriminalization doesn't achieve any of those things. It's a half measure that will actually make it very difficult for us to put in a properly functioning, comprehensive regulatory system that will achieve the public purpose aims we're setting out to do.
But is it fair to give people a criminal record in the next 12 or 18 months for doing something that the Prime Minister has admitted he's done?
Well, I'll tell you the problem, Evan, is marijuana is not a benign substance. It does require strict regulation. And until that's in place, the only system of control we have is the current laws. If people don't want to get a criminal record, I'd urge them to obey the law. But our laws should be obeyed and they should be enforced.
All right, some people, and I appreciate what you're saying technically, some people think those laws are now lame duck. Should the police keep cracking down on, say, pot shops that are opening up everywhere, mail-order marijuana that's opening up, people that are smoking now more openly? Should the police crack down on those people?
Well, I'll tell you, at one time when I was the police chief, I would have been responsible for making that decision. But quite frankly, in my current role, I would leave it to the police chiefs right across the country to make decisions about the deployment of their resources and the utilization of their priorities in order to keep their communities safe. But I would remind them as well that the laws that are currently in place are important for helping protect Canadians, and those laws should be obeyed and they should be enforced.
All right, when can we expect all this to happen? People saw the task force, they saw these recommendations. How quickly are you going to move in the government on actually legalizing marijuana?
Well, I think one of the things the report really lays out well for us is the complexity of the challenges that we face. Now, the government has made a commitment. Our health minister has said she'll bring forward new legislation in the spring of 2017. So in the next several months, that regulations will come forward.
Do you have a good test for intoxication if someone's high and driving? Do police actually have a good test to find out if someone's smoked a lot of dope and then they go taking their car out for a drive, like a drinking and driving test?
Well, right now we have a per se limit, and there are tools available to the police for the enforcement of alcohol. With drugs, which includes marijuana, some of the legislation clearly needs to be updated. We have to make sure that the police have the tools and the training they need and the resources they're going to require in order to keep our roadways safe.
Before I let you go, if marijuana becomes legal, will Bill Blair smoke marijuana? Will Bill Blair eat a marijuana brownie, a pot brownie?
Actually, no, Evan. And I've been a police officer for 40 years. I worked in narcotics for quite a number of years. I've never used an illegal drug, and I don't have any intention. But it will be legal. But that's what I'm saying.
Once it's legal, if someone goes to your holiday party and they say, "Hey, Bill, I've brought you a pot brownie," what do you say?
You know, Evan, I've been compelled, as a result of the responsibility the Prime Minister has given me, to look pretty hard at this drug. I recognize that there are risks and even significant risks associated to its use. I'm not prepared to accept those risks, so I won't be using that drug.
All right, interesting. Bill Blair, I appreciate your time. You have a good holiday, sir.
Merry Christmas, Evan.
Merry Christmas to you as well.